Today, I'm going to talk about Angelo Ogbonna in the next of the series. Well, I thought I was going to. Right up until the point where I sat down here and started to tell, I turned the camera on, I thought, actually, I can't talk about Ogbonna today. Nothing wrong with Ogbonna, of course, but a fine player. We will talk about him in another video. We'll do each of the squad eventually, but it's not what's on my mind, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a transfer policy. I'd even made up a little poem for Ogbonna as well. Not quite as good as Chris Ross, in case some of you follow. If you don't follow Chris Ross, why don't you, by the way? The East End poet, absolutely fantastic. So not to his standard, but I'd made up a little poem about Ogbonna and his wife almost being a goner and his wife being called Donna, which she's not. I made that up, by the way, his wife's. I don't think so. She might be. I don't know. Imagine if his wife was Donna Ogbonna. Or imagine if Andy Carroll married a woman called Carol. Gary Neville and Phil Neville's dad is called Neville. I'm serious. He's called Neville. Anyway, what a bizarre intro to a video. West Ham's transfer strategy is really the point that I've sort of drifted onto because I'm not very happy at all. It doesn't mean I'm fuming, and there are a lot of people that are fuming, but I am a little bit worried. I'm trying to draw some crumbs of comfort from previous windows where we thought nothing was going to happen, and then something did. Now, it looks at the moment, so we've got this Ollie Watkins lad, right? Ollie Watkins played in the Championship final, which was won by Fulham. Ollie Watkins played for Brentford. Didn't quite work out for them, but he's a good player. They have a very, very good model, Brentford, for highlight. They don't have a youth academy. I didn't know that until today. They don't have a youth academy, but they basically pick players with the idea of the model is to sell them on, which they do with great success. Obviously, they've got 3 or 4 very good players at the moment. Ollie Watkins is one of them. We're in fact, West Ham rumoured to be interested in all 3 or 4 of them, but don't read too much by that, because if you're a Championship team and you've got half-decent player, then West Ham are going to be linked with them. So I need to try and separate the links from the reality and who we might really be after. So we hear, as of last week, and I've spoken about this as well, but I'm only going by what I hear, that Eze is Moyes' #1 target. But then we also hear that Moyes' absolute priority is the defence. Well, which one is it? Well, we're not going to know, because neither of those have really come through official channels, and the only official channel is David Moyes himself. And David Moyes doesn't say anything. I've said this before, if David Moyes says anything to anyone, might be his missus, right? Mrs. Moyes, Moyes, Boise. Nolan, the other coaches, Irvine, Nevin, maybe they know about it. But I can't imagine too many other people will. So we don't know. Is his primary objective to secure Eze, or is it to strengthen the defence? Well, I've got to go on the little bit of evidence that I do know, and that's when he was here previously. And he said what was really important was to get West Ham to stay up, which he did do. Moved Mark Arnautovic to centre-forward, played Lanzini off of him. And he was asked in a few interviews, what will you do to stay on? What do West Ham need to improve? And he said, well, look, we don't really have any problems scoring goals. We seem to be able to score goals quite well. And they did. And we did, you know. I know there were games where we didn't have many chances, but he certainly felt with Arnautovic up front and Lanzini, who at the time was on absolute fire, playing just off of him, then West Ham had enough to be able to score some goals going forward. And you've got to get into David Moyes' mindset. That's really all he wants. He doesn't need to have tons of possession. We've heard him speak about it even just recently. Don't want tons of possession. If David Moyes can get 5 or 6 chances in a game, then he's going to be confident in that, because this is something on which I spoke with Ray and Charlie on our Patreon podcast. Moyes has got absolute belief in himself, which is that his tactics are going to win most games. And before you mock, you've got to have that belief in whatever you do. David Moyes is a successful football manager. Is he one of the world's best? No. But me and you and everybody else wants to be a football manager. We even get games which we play on computers where we pretend to be football managers, right? Well, this guy actually is one. And he's had some relative success at Everton. So he clearly has an idea and he has a plan which has worked for him at some point. So I think David Moyes thinks if he can get 5 or 6 opportunities in a game, he might get a goal or 2, and he has that much confidence within himself and within his system that he feels if his team can get a goal or 2, he can build a defence that won't concede a goal or 2. Because that's enough, right? If you don't concede a goal or 2, but you score a goal or 2, you're going to win games. And as we know, David Moyes, that's what he does. He wins. I'm not mocking. I'm not mocking him. I'm just trying to lay it out how he might think. And that's what he said last time. We will not have a problem scoring goals. We need to sort out the defence. I'd like to bring in and spend money on defenders. So fast forward to now, his second stint at the club. Really, has that much changed? Is he after defenders now? Well, I would think he is, just by what I said. The evidence from before suggests he is. The other evidence we got to go by is we leak a lot of goals. He wants to sort that out. Look at the running. Look at the running after the lockdown. We were scoring lots of goals, but you could still get us. The areas of weakness in our team were clear. So we know this. We know about the fullbacks. We know, but it's actually bringing the players in that's really got me a little bit worried, a little bit concerned, a little bit annoyed maybe, because I think you've got to strike while the iron's hot, because there's a lot of teams that just go out there and just do business, just get things done. And I think for a certain extent, you're looking at this Antoine, as you know, Antoine Robinson at Wigan. Now Wigan have really unfortunately suffered a really terrible fate. We're going to sort of pick at the carcass of Wigan. Now, there is a part of me that actually feels a little bit guilty about doing that, because they're a club on the decline. They're a club in serious financial trouble. And I didn't like it when Manchester United said it. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, well, look, there's going to be a lot of clubs struggling after COVID. We're really rich. We're going to take advantage of it. I didn't like it. So I think if I'm being fair, I don't like the fact. I would have preferred Wigan not to be dissolved and cease to exist as a football club. I'd rather we just went there, and if we thought their left back was the best left back in the Championship, we just go and buy him. That's what I would prefer. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. So we've clearly highlighted this guy. I say clearly. Then we need to get him in, and we need to get him in now, because so much of our transfer strategy seems to be centred around the fact that other teams won't react quickly. I mentioned this when we did the live stream the other day on Saturday, whenever it was. What if we want this Ollie Watkins? What if it's not defence? What we're waiting? Why are we waiting to see who blinks first? Why would we let Crystal Palace come in and buy him? I don't think we are after him. I think we can't shift Sebastian Haller, as was discussed before, and I think Mikel Antonio has proven himself to be an adequate Premier League striker. Certainly a very, very good Premier League utility man for any one of those 3 places across the front. That's a great tool to have in the box for David Moyes. To say, right, I've got this guy here. I'm basically going to play a 4-3-3, and his front 3 positions, I've got a guy, Mikel Antonio, can play any one of them. And not just play any one of them, be a threat from the right, be a threat from the left, be a threat up front. Do we need Ollie Watkins? Am I convinced that we'll go and get him? Well, I think he may be the best of the lot at Brentford, for the limited amount I've seen of him. But no, I'm with Moyes. I don't think possibly that's where the priority is. But even if it was, Crystal Palace are not just going to sit around saying, oh, no, it's all right, Brentford, we'll wait and see what West Ham do. If West Ham don't sign him, we'll take him. They won't do that. They would just come in and sign him if they've got the money. And I think Crystal Palace do, for one very good reason. Because there seems to be a lot of criticism that Crystal Palace seems to have a little bit more money than West Ham. Why do they? I'll tell you exactly why they do. Because they sold Wan-Bissaka for 50 million quid to Manchester United and asked for quite a lot of it up front. Crystal Palace didn't sign a right back. I couldn't believe it. I think they were playing Kelly there and Ward and people like that. They brought in Cahill from Chelsea, who proved to be a very good signing, but he was on a free. Wages high, yes, but you know, Premier League club, you can afford the odd guy on high wages. They didn't spend 50 million. So even though they may have been impacted, even if we think of the worst case scenario, which is they've been impacted by coronavirus, they've been impacted by COVID-19, they don't have this season's transfer budget. Roy has nothing from this season. Well, that's okay. He just has 50 million from last season. With that in mind, we know he has a war chest. Now I understand why Crystal Palace have more money than West Ham, because we did spend in the summer, but we also saved a lot of money on wages. Loads and loads of money on wages, by the way. And I just don't think we can wait if that's the guy we want. But it's not just him, because apparently they're interested in Eze as well, which, depending on what report you choose to believe, is David Moyes' #1 signing. His #1 choice. That's what he wants to improve the team. It's not defenders. It's Eze. Well, I don't believe that. I believe it to be defenders, but let's just assume it is Eze. Once again, Crystal Palace seem to want this player. Now, the rumour is that they might have to wait until somebody buys Wilfried Zaha before they can replace him. Well, they don't have to, for reasons I've just said. They do have 50 million there. That being said, I cannot see a load of people coming in for Wilfried Zaha because he's a bad player. No, I think he's brilliant. I think he's one of the very best around on his day. I think he can turn any defender inside out. Brilliant, brilliant player. But I just can't see that he scores enough or assists enough for anybody to pay big money for him. And what's quite telling is Arsenal, who are rumoured to be after Wilfried Zaha for the last few years, last 2 or 3 seasons, it looks like they're signing William from Chelsea to go in their wide positions. Well, they spent 70 million on Pepe as well. They're not going to buy him. So where's he going to go? I'm not so sure. So I'm not so sure Crystal Palace are waiting for someone to come in from Zaha. And if you were Crystal Palace and you wanted to push on, you wouldn't sell Zaha. Thought you wanted Eze, you'd have Zaha and Eze in there, right? Surely that's got to be the thing too. But the point of the matter is, we seem to be allowing a window of opportunity for somebody else to come in and steal a march on us, to take the player that we're after. And there is a part of me, and I don't know, there is a part of me that's getting frustrated about this, but there is another part of me that thinks we can't be that incompetent. And yeah, you laugh. I know, you laugh. Oh, yes, we can. I'm not sure. I'm not into... See that thing? It's a bit of fluff, what's that? Excuse me. A bit of fluff. An orb, like on, what's it called? Most Haunted. Most Haunted. They see this little speck of light, they say, oh, it's an orb. An orb's a ghost, apparently. Very funny. Good for a laugh. It used to be. What's his name? Derek Akora. Used to be the ghost spotter. Very good. I only knew about it because I used to have a girlfriend that it used to be her favourite thing. Most Haunted. She was convinced it was legit. Anyway, I digress. Where was I? What was I talking about? I've completely lost it. Why am I talking about? Oh, it's because the thing flew across, wasn't it? Look, transfer strategy. I cannot believe we're that foolish. I cannot believe that we're not working behind the scenes. I cannot believe that we are not somehow doing something. Dithering Dave, nasty name. It's Davey McMoist, as we know. But if you want to call him Dithering Dave, I cannot believe he dithers that much. There can't be that much dithering going on. I think he must be working behind the scenes to try and pull something off, if you pardon the expression. You'd have to do that behind the scenes. You wouldn't want to do that publicly, would you? Let's be perfectly honest. Because if what we're really waiting for is a little loan fee for a jetty and a promise of something that might happen in the future, then we're not going to get a lot of business done. And I know it's easy to say. I know it's easy to say, because I don't believe that the owners do have £1 billion in the bank. I think so much of it is caught up in property and stuff like that. But don't tell me there's not 20 million somewhere. And I don't mean behind a sofa. Don't tell me there's not 20 million or something in a fund that they can't take and just say to David Moyes, there you go, there's your money, get your player, whether it's the forward or the defenders or whatever it is you want to do. When you sell someone, we'll have that back. Because that's got to be the healthy thing for the club, right? That's got to be the smart thing to do. That's good for the club. That's just not good for David Moyes. That's good for David Gold and David Sullivan. Because I don't think next season Leeds are going to muck about. I don't think West Brom are going to muck about, and Fulham... look, Fulham are not plucky paupers. Fulham are not Brentford, who have just come up and have got a acclimatised to the Premier League. But Fulham are not Brentford, basically. Fulham have been a Premier League team lots and lots of times the last few seasons. Look, are they going to storm it? I'm not so sure, but they showed promise. Scott Parker shows promise. I don't think we can afford to rest on our laurels. I don't think we can really afford to say, well, this squad that we had last season will definitely be enough. I think we have to make improvements to it. And then we look forward and we make these changes and we look to think, OK, well, we can excel, we can push on. When I say excel, we can have a good season with these good new players like Souček and Bowen are coming, and with Antonio, and retain Declan Rice and do all these things. Actually, we're a pretty damn good team. But you add to that, because still that pretty damn good team still only just avoided relegation, even though I know after season with a different manager, Souček and Bowen weren't here for after season. That I know. But give them a chance. Give your team a chance. Give your manager a chance. Give him 20 million. Take it out of the hedge fund. Take it out of here. Get it from behind the sofa. Do what it's stuffed in the DVD case or whatever it is. I've revealed my hiding place there, haven't I? Not that it's 20 million. It's 15 quid, to be honest with you. But they don't know, the kids. They don't know. They don't look right under their noses. They don't look in the Xbox case. What I'm saying is, give them some money. Give him the money now and then say to him, you've got to recoup it. Here's your money, buy your player, then you sell Anderson, we take the money out. And I was going to say, give you the rest. I don't think we get an awful lot of change for Felipe Anderson. There you go. That's what I think. Well, we'll get on to Ogbonna, poetry, other things. But for today, it was the transfers that have got me with a little bit of a bee in my bonnet.